So you have your calculator ready. Okay. Watch what it says, and I want you to start reading carefully, right? State everything as a decimal and as a percent. Do not round finite decimals. Finite means they end. So this is how you do it. Watch this. 3 divided by 4, 0.75, correct? So I'm going to write down what the calculator shows me here. This is sort of my calculator screen. Okay. Is it finite? Yes, it ends, right? 0.75, it ends. It doesn't just keep going. Right? So you will then state it as a decimal, 0.75, and you will take this and state it as a percentage. What do you do to turn anything into a percentage? Multiply it by 100, right? You're smart, you're smart. Okay, so times 175. This one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but there it is. Let's do another one. Should I do 5 over 6? Let's do that one. 5 divided by 6. Is this finite? Not finite. It actually, if your calculator wasn't limited, it would keep going. So we go 0.833, and it just keeps going. That's what's on my screen, correct? So from the screen, you kind of want to answer the decimal form and then the percentage form. So if you round this to 2 decimals, that is the standard in this unit, guys, 2 decimals. It'd be 0.8, you cut it right here. You cut it right here. It would stay a 3, 0.83. And this is where the tricky part comes in. If you want to state this as a percentage, some students would just multiply the 83 by 100 and boom, right? The province would mark that wrong. You got to go back to your screen, multiply that by 100, and it is 83.33%. Okay, it's not just 83, it's 83.33%. So that's a little nuance that some students find annoying, right? And I get it. But go back to your screen, answer as a decimal to 2 decimals, and then you answered the percentage to 2 decimals as well. Okay, so I hope you understand what's happening here. The rest I'm going to leave up to you. Do you know the rounding rules? You know what? Here it is. Okay. If the number beside the one you're rounding is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, we round down. Okay. If it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you round up. I'm sure you remember that, but hey, just in case you were sleeping that day, right? Actually, it was probably several days because it's not just a one-day lesson. That's what happens. So let me see here if there's one. Yeah, let's do this one here. 3 divided by 32. It's finite as well. So I'm going against what I said here, but if the province says state this as a decimal, you would say 0.09, right? Because this number determines what happens to the one you're writing down. And then we multiply that by 100. That would be 9.3 what? What happens to that 7 if you wanted to round it to 2 decimals? There's a 5 there. 5 bumps this to an 8. Okay, so the province would see either one of these as correct. And the rest, I'll leave those up to you. So just leave them for now. I'll walk you through some more here. I will assign whatever I don't finish today. Number 2, round the following to the nearest hundredth. Right? Hundredth is 2 decimals. So we're going to go over here. So basically what they want us to do is to cut it right there and just stay 2 decimals. Right? So this would be 17.98. It would stay 8 because the 4, you round this whole number down, right? Because you're slightly over 9/8, right? Slightly over. So you round it down to just 8. Next, this one here. You cut it right there. What would happen to that one? The 4 would turn into a 5. Yes, you round up in that case. Over here, cut it right there. It's 19.45 because the 4 doesn't affect the 5 and so forth. So that's what I want you to practice here. Let me do one that's maybe going to throw you off a little bit. Let's go to F. So if you wanted to round right here, this is a problem, right? This 6, it's great, it's 5 or greater, right? It's going to bump that to a 0, to a 10, I must say, which turns this into a 10, which turns this into a 9. Okay? So it's kind of like a chain reaction. As long as there are 9s, it keeps bumping to 10 until you find a number that isn't 9, and then you're done. So this is 259.00 to be specific. Fun stuff, right? I'll stop there too, because those I want you to try the other ones later. Percentage of a number. This is going to be so popular and so repetitive that you need to know how to do these questions. So if you're finding 3% of this, you need to turn that into a decimal, correct? You can never just go 3 times that. 3% is really 3 over 100. Okay? And 3 over 100 is what? Well, if you're not sure, just go 3 divided by 100. That's 0.03. These are all saying the exact same thing, but to work with it, we need to turn it into a decimal. You could keep it as a fraction. I like to turn it into a decimal. Of means times, okay? So I'm going to go brackets. So 0.03 times $250. What is that? 0.03 times 250, 7. What would you say here? I'm just curious. Would you say $7.5? You would say $7.50, wouldn't we? And so here's an important concept. It's 7.5, but the province would take a rounding error on this one. You would lose half a mark if you answer a dollar value in this form. So you need to add the 0 there. It is a must if you want full marks for this answer. Okay. Another thing is the dollar sign. Okay. So 2 things. The rest I'll leave that up to you. Let's go to E real quick. I should have had more examples. 25.64% of 7,850 people. Okay. So you need to turn that into a decimal. You go 25.64. Whatever the number is, divided by 100. Don't round. You multiply that by 7,850 people. So when you multiply that by 7,850, you get this. Is that okay to state number of people as a decimal? No. We call this discrete. Have you ever discrete data? So you have to round up or down. The province allows you to go up or down. So you would say 212 or, 2012 or 2013 people. That would be acceptable if you answer it like this. You don't have to say or, you can pick either one of those. But yeah, just remember that. And the last one there is going to be very popular. Very, very popular. What do you know? What does that remind you of when you see these ones? Cross, multiply, and divide. Proportional reasoning. Do you remember? That's the fancy term for it. Yes. So every teacher does this slightly differently. This is how I teach this. Whenever you have a proportion, you go to the side where the variable is located. Start with the number, which is below in this case. Then you have to multiply across like that. And you have to divide by what's left over. That's only to guide you. That's not the work. The work is like this. N is 38 times 45. I know some of you might not be used to brackets, but it's like times. It's times, okay? So you go 38 times 45 and then divide it by 76. $22.5. It's okay to keep it like that because it's not a dollar amount. Okay? But if you want to put a zero there, it's not going to hurt you. Okay? They're not going to take marks off. So there we go. You do that with all of these as well. Okay? Let's go to the back side of this, page 2. I know this booklet is a lot more than what we can go through today. I'm going to ask you to try the first 3 pages. So I'm going to stop here because I think I've talked enough. So your homework is pages 1 to 3. I will post the key to the entire booklet, but if you can make it through 1 to 3, that's all I'm asking you. So let's say you come across a question you're not sure about. For now, just leave it and do what you can, right? That's it.